Isaiah Thomas is 100% right.
Stephen A. Smith agrees that LeBron is unprofessional.
Hall of Famer Isaiah Thomas called out the one and only LeBron James himself for being, quote, unprofessional, end quote, for wearing no shirt during early shoot-around on Friday. This is what Isaiah Thomas had to say about LeBron while NBA TV rolled the warm-up video. Y'all got to see this. Take a look at this. I just totally 100% object to this. If I was the GM or coach, I would never let one of my players walk out on the floor looking like this. The professionalism in our NBA league has diminished so much. I like LeBron, but to walk out on the floor before a game with no shirt on and shoot, I mean, come on, man. Where we at? What we doing? Adam Silver, if you want to find somebody, find that. Put a fine on that, end quote. It's just a bad example to use. Because you see, contrary to what some of you trolls out there want to instigate and fabricate and start up, when it's talking about Stephen A. Smith and LeBron, I told y'all I'm going to always be fair. I'm going to do my job regardless of how we feel about each other. I'm going to do my job. LeBron James is not the greatest example to use because 99% of the time, the brother epitomizes professionalism. LeBron James is usually dressed up. LeBron James carries the mantle and conducts himself with the proper level of decorum and professionalism. Media interviews, post games, availability, stuff like that. LeBron James shows up. Big events representing the NBA brand. It's LeBron James you lean on. So to mention the word unprofessionalism and him with a broad brush would be incredibly unfair. But if you're isolating an incident, which Isaiah Thomas did, then it's more than fair. And the reason why it's more than fair is because you're thinking about what's going on in the moment. You're a man out there with no uniform, no t-shirt on in a professional environment. You're not in a closed door practice. You're out at the arena where fans have already been allowed to enter the arena. It is a professional environment. But most importantly, it's about who this critique is coming from. Y'all do understand that that champion that is Isaiah Thomas was also the president of the Players Association for years, right? Did y'all know that when it came to diversity in the sport covering the NBA, that one of the biggest people who spearheaded that movement was Isaiah Thomas, who brought it up and made it an issue during collective bargaining negotiations in the 80s. Did you know that? Because he did it. So people like me and Michael Wilbon and various others who have been blessed and fortunate enough to cover the NBA for years, including women, by the way, Isaiah Thomas was one of the people who spearheaded that movement. And when they talk about the level of professionalism, long before David Stern, in the aftermath of the brawl at the Palace in Auburn Hills in 2004, so implemented a dress code, long before that, it was Isaiah Thomas, who was a leader amongst many, the Michael Jordans of the world, the Alonzo Mourners of the world, the Shaq Diesel. Go back and look at the footage. Did you see how they came to a game? Did you see how they were dressed? Do y'all know who the most popular coaches were at that time? Pat Riley. Remember how he dressed? Chuck Daly, Daddy Rich, as my man John Sally would call him. Remember how he dressed? Everybody would bow to the altar of Chuck Daly, God rest his soul. Larry Brown helped upgrade my wardrobe. I'll tell y'all that story one day, if I haven't already. Remember how coaches were dressed? You didn't see coaches dressed in warm-up suits and sneakers. There's a level of professionalism that came associated with the sport. And Isaiah Thomas didn't escape mentioning that as well. When somebody like, whether it was Jalen Rose or whoever else was on the set with him, when they said, yo, what about the coaches? Isaiah said them too. So he's talking about professionalism and a standard that has been ignored. Now, in terms of the media, I think it's safe to say that if anybody had the right to speak on this issue, it would be me. In case y'all didn't notice, your brother dresses quite nicely. Matter of fact, I got to talk to my damn nephew Josh at how he been dressing. He got to upgrade his wardrobe because there's a standard that comes associated with your boy Stephen A. You don't believe me? Ask First Take. It ain't no accident. I might say it with a smile on my face, half jokingly, but I'm also serious. Oh, you gonna dress on First Take. You ain't gonna just show up dressed any old kind of way. It ain't going down like that. Professionalism matters. This was a rare moment.
In a surprising moment of alignment, ESPN's Stephen A. Smith has echoed Isaiah Thomas's recent criticism of LeBron James, calling the Lakers star's decision to warm up shirtless before a game unprofessional. The debate started when Thomas, speaking on NBA TV, argued that as the face of the league, LeBron should hold himself to a higher standard. Now, Stephen A. has reinforced that stance, suggesting that LeBron's influence demands a more polished approach. Even during pre-game routines, Thomas, a respected NBA champion and Hall of Famer, set off the discussion by questioning LeBron's lack of professionalism in his pre-game appearance. He emphasized that, as a global icon, LeBron's actions set an example for younger players and should reflect respect for the game. Smith, while acknowledging that LeBron broke no official rules, agreed that his status as one of the greatest players ever means everything he does is under scrutiny. He argued that professionalism extends beyond just in-game performance and includes how a player presents themselves. Not everyone shares this perspective. Some believe pre-game warm-ups are purely about preparation and that LeBron's choice of attire, or lack thereof, shouldn't be an issue. However, Thomas and Smith maintain that for a player of LeBron's stature, image and conduct matter just as much. Whether this becomes a larger conversation remains to be seen, but with two prominent basketball voices in agreement, it's clear that even small actions by LeBron can spark big debates.